When we think about wealth inequality, the first thing that often comes to mind is taxes. After all, taxes are one of the most straightforward tools a government has to redistribute wealth, right? But what if I told you that simply increasing taxes may not be enough to close the wealth gap? Let's take a closer look at Singapore's unique approach to economic growth and wealth distribution, and how it shows us that taxes alone can't solve the problem of wealth inequality. Chapter 1. The myth of taxes as the sole solution. Many people around the world assume that raising taxes on the wealthy is the most effective way to reduce inequality. The reasoning seems straightforward. Take more from those who have more, redistribute it through social programs, and balance society's scales. Yet Singapore challenges this common assumption. The city-state's government deliberately avoids high taxes as its primary tool for wealth redistribution. Instead, it focuses on long-term strategies that empower individuals and strengthen society as a whole. Singapore invests heavily in education, ensuring that every child, regardless of background, has access to quality schooling and opportunities to excel. Vocational training, upskilling programs, and continuous adult education are key components of this system, preparing citizens to thrive in a competitive global economy. Beyond education, the government builds social safety nets and affordable housing, creating a secure foundation that allows people to pursue growth rather than merely survive. Innovation and entrepreneurship are also actively encouraged. By fostering a business-friendly environment with low barriers to entry, Singapore ensures that wealth can be created organically rather than only redistributed after it has already been earned. The lesson is clear: taxes are important, but they are just one tool. Without complementary policies that invest in human capital, nurture opportunity, and promote fairness in access to resources, taxing the rich alone cannot solve wealth inequality. Singapore demonstrates that true economic balance comes not from taking wealth away, but from creating systems that allow everyone to generate it. Chapter 2. A strategy focused on empowerment, not handouts. Singapore's economic model is not about giving handouts. It's about creating the conditions for citizens to succeed on their own. The government's investments in education, job training, and upskilling programs are central to this philosophy. From the earliest years of schooling, Singapore emphasizes critical thinking, problem-solving, and practical skills that prepare students to thrive in a competitive global economy. A standout feature of Singapore's system is its focus on STEM: science, technology, engineering, and math. Students are encouraged to master these disciplines, equipping them with the tools to meet the demands of rapidly evolving industries such as biotechnology, fintech, and advanced manufacturing. But the education system doesn't stop at youth. Lifelong learning initiatives ensure that adults can reskill and adapt, maintaining their competitiveness throughout their careers. This approach is tightly linked to Singapore's commitment to social mobility. Instead of redistributing wealth through high taxes alone, the government actively encourages entrepreneurship and innovation. Citizens are provided with resources, mentorship, and support programs to launch businesses, create jobs, and generate wealth. By focusing on opportunities rather than dependency, Singapore empowers people to take ownership of their economic futures. In essence, Singapore shows that reducing inequality isn't just about taking from the rich. It's about giving citizens the knowledge, skills, and opportunities to climb the ladder themselves. When people are empowered to create wealth, society benefits as a whole, building a sustainable economy that lifts everyone, not just a few. Chapter 3. The role of Singapore's public housing system. One of Singapore's most remarkable tools for managing wealth inequality isn't a tax policy, it's its public housing system. Unlike many countries that struggle to provide affordable housing, Singapore has transformed this challenge into a mechanism for social mobility and long-term wealth creation. The Housing and Development Board, or HDB, builds high-quality, affordable flats for Singaporean citizens. Today, nearly 80% of the population lives in these homes. But Singapore goes beyond just providing shelter. The government has designed a system that helps low and middle-income families purchase their flats at subsidized prices, with financing options that make ownership realistic for almost everyone. Home ownership in Singapore is more than security. it's a pathway to wealth. As families pay off their flats, they build equity, which grows over time as property values increase. This ensures that wealth is not concentrated in a small elite, but spread broadly across society. Even families starting with modest means can accumulate assets that give them financial stability and future opportunities. What makes this system so effective is its long-term vision. It doesn't rely on high taxes or government handouts to redistribute money. Instead, it creates real, tangible assets for ordinary citizens, empowering them to participate fully in the economy. By giving people access to affordable housing and the chance to build equity, Singapore has turned a basic necessity into a powerful engine for reducing inequality and fostering social mobility. Chapter 4: Taxes and the Investment-Driven Economy. Taxes are often seen as the main tool to reduce inequality, but Singapore takes a different approach. While taxes are important, the city-state uses them strategically to stimulate growth rather than simply redistribute wealth. Corporate taxes in Singapore are intentionally low, making the country one of the most attractive destinations in the world for businesses and investors. This policy has helped transform Singapore into a global financial hub, with multinational companies establishing regional headquarters and startups finding fertile ground to grow. The low-tax environment encourages both local and foreign investment. When businesses thrive, they create jobs, increase wages, and generate wealth, not just for the elite, but for the wider population. The government then reinvests tax revenues into public goods like education, healthcare, and infrastructure, ensuring that growth benefits everyone. Taxes in this system are a tool for long-term wealth creation, not just short-term redistribution. Singapore's approach highlights a key insight. Simply increasing taxes doesn't automatically reduce inequality. What matters is how the revenue is used. By fostering a business-friendly environment, Singapore allows wealth to be created sustainably, lifting society as a whole. Instead of relying solely on high taxes to redistribute money, the government focuses on policies that grow the economic pie itself. In other words, wealth isn't just being transferred, it's being multiplied. This strategy shows that economic prosperity and social equity can coexist when taxes are part of a larger plan for growth, opportunity, and sustainable wealth creation. Chapter 5: The Singaporean Social Safety Net. Singapore's approach to wealth inequality goes beyond taxes and housing. It extends to a carefully designed social safety net. The government provides essential services such as healthcare, education, and public transportation. But it does so in a way that is efficient, sustainable, and accessible to all citizens. Rather than giving subsidies or handouts to the wealthy, Singapore focuses on systems that ensure fairness and opportunity across the board. Healthcare in Singapore is a prime example. The country uses a system called MediSave, a mandatory savings account where every citizen contributes a portion of their income. These funds can then be used to pay for healthcare expenses when needed. By tying responsibility directly to personal savings, Singapore ensures that everyone has access to care while promoting individual accountability. Education is another cornerstone of this strategy. Public schools are high quality and widely available, giving every child the chance to succeed regardless of their family's income. Similarly, affordable and efficient public transportation connects people to opportunities, reducing barriers that can keep low-income citizens from accessing jobs and education. At the heart of Singapore's social safety net is personal responsibility. Citizens are empowered to manage their own well-being, while the government provides the tools and structures to make it possible. This approach reduces the need for high taxes and heavy redistribution, proving that a society can provide strong public services, maintain social equity, and still encourage self-reliance and economic growth. Chapter 6: Fostering Innovation and Entrepreneurship. If high taxes alone could solve wealth inequality, then countries with the highest tax rates would have the smallest gaps between rich and poor. Yet in reality, that isn't the case. Singapore demonstrates a different path. It has built a thriving economy by fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, showing that creating wealth can be just as important as redistributing it. The government actively supports entrepreneurs in multiple ways. Grants, subsidies, and low-interest loans helps small businesses take off, turning promising ideas into successful ventures. Training programs and mentorship opportunities guide new business owners through the challenges of growth, giving them the tools to succeed. Singapore's business-friendly policies are equally important. By minimizing bureaucracy and red tape, the government ensures that anyone with a viable idea can start a business, scale it, and contribute to the economy. This approach doesn't just create jobs, it creates opportunities for ordinary citizens to generate wealth and improve their economic standing. Innovation is not left to chance. Singapore encourages research, technology development, and creative problem-solving, positioning the nation as a global hub for cutting-edge industries. In this environment, wealth is generated at the source rather than relying solely on taking money from the rich and giving it to others. By prioritizing opportunity, creativity, and entrepreneurship, Singapore proves that reducing inequality is not just about redistribution. It's about building systems where people can create their own wealth, climb the economic ladder, and contribute to a prosperous society. Chapter 7, Taxes as a Complement, Not the Solution. Let's return to taxes, the tool many assume is the ultimate fix for wealth inequality. Singapore shows why this assumption is flawed. While taxes are important, the city-state maintains one of the highest standards of living in the world with relatively low tax rates, a feat that many high-tax nations have struggled to achieve. The key lies in how Singapore approaches wealth. Instead of relying solely on redistributing money, the government focuses on creating systems where wealth can be generated in the first place. Investments in education, vocational training, and lifelong learning equip citizens with the skills needed to succeed in a competitive global economy. Entrepreneurship is encouraged through grants, low-interest loans, and a business-friendly environment, giving people the tools to start businesses and create jobs. Public services like healthcare, transportation, and housing are designed to be efficient and accessible, ensuring that citizens can thrive without being dependent on high taxes or handouts. By empowering individuals to build their own wealth, Singapore reduces inequality organically, without heavy-handed redistribution. In essence, taxes in Singapore are a complement, not the main solution. They fund essential services and infrastructure, but work alongside policies that promote opportunity, innovation, and personal responsibility. Singapore proves a vital lesson. If a society wants to reduce inequality sustainably, it must focus on creating conditions for wealth generation, not just taking from the rich. Conclusion. Singapore's lesson on wealth inequality. Singapore's story offers a powerful lesson. Taxes alone cannot solve wealth inequality. While fair taxation is important, it is only one piece of the puzzle. The true solution lies in creating opportunities, empowering citizens, and fostering innovation. By investing strategically in education, healthcare, housing, and infrastructure, Singapore has built a society where individuals, regardless of their background, can thrive. From world-class schools and lifelong learning programs to affordable public housing and accessible healthcare, the government ensures that everyone has the tools to succeed. At the same time, Singapore encourages entrepreneurship and innovation, providing resources, mentorship, and a business-friendly environment that allows people to generate wealth rather than depend solely on redistribution. This approach creates sustainable prosperity, lifts society as a whole, and reduces inequality naturally. The lesson is clear. Simply raising taxes and redistributing money is not enough. Real change comes from empowering individuals, creating opportunities, and enabling people to climb the economic ladder on their own. So the next time someone claims that the key to reducing inequality is just higher taxes, think of Singapore. Here is a nation that proves wealth can be created, shared, and grown, not simply taken from the rich. A balanced strategy combining smart investments, social mobility, and long-term growth is the real key to a fairer, more prosperous society.